Hey tribe, Sally here. Hope you're having an amazing and fascinating day. I know I am. Welcome back to another Monday Milepost Mailbag. Thank you so much for being here. We're going to get some coffee going, and then we're going to get right into it. So, let's roll the intro, and I'll see you on the other side.
Wake up with the sun in our eyes. Sally forth, no need for goodbyes. Journey calls, let's roll the dice. Every mile a new surprise.
I thought I'd start with the coffee shots this morning. I have no idea how much coffee to use because this is the first time I have gone back to using coffee beans in probably 7, 8, 9 years, maybe. Something like that. And I am working really hard on cleaning up everything in my, everything I can. Whatever I can do better, I want to do better. And so as you may know, one of my things is the less processed something is, the better off I'm probably going to be having that thing. So I got my beans in. Let's see how long it takes to grind them. And you can tell the grinder is brand new because there was no stuff stuck on the lid. All right, let's see what that looks like. That's a medium grind. That looks like plenty for a cup of coffee. See, this is it. I have, it's been so long since I have done this. I don't even remember how much coffee to use for a cup. I will tell you this. I got the beans out of my overflow pantry storage yesterday because I knew I was finishing off the last of my ground coffee, and went ahead and put them into my canister. Too bad you can't smell that. Man, that smells good. Put them into my canister, and then when I open this, this is tiny RV living for you. I keep all of my coffee making stuff, my teapot, my beans, I use collagen peptides in my coffee, and the grinder in the microwave, which is what you're attached to, well, what your view is coming down from right now. So, that's what we got for coffee beans. Now we need a filter. Coffee is such a process, guys, just in case you didn't know. And I'm spanning my entire counter to make it because my cup's over there. And I will say, I'm kind of happy that I'm not giving you meetup info reports and so forth this week. Believe it or not, everything leading up to the meetup, it took a surprising amount of time and effort. And if you were there, you got this sticker. If you weren't there, you didn't. So, if you want a special sticker, you might want to come to the next meetup. On the other hand, I don't want to encourage too many people to do that because we had such a nice group and everybody had a good time. But I'm happy to be able to take a break from that. I am planning, as I travel through the country this year, though, to do some mini meetups. And the way I see that happening, I'm waiting for the water to get hot enough to put in the filter. The way that I see that happening is, as I'm traveling east, I'll pick a town, give you a couple of days notice, so you're going to need to be watching community posts and especially Patreon posts. And as a reminder, you can join my Patreon for free. I've put in a free tier, and a lot of the announcements are going to be coming with details on Patreon rather than on YouTube. But I'm figuring this will be the kind of thing where we have a Route 66 Coffee Talk IRL. That's what I'm thinking as I'm traveling east across the country. So I'll pick a place a couple of days before I'll get there, and I'll make an announcement and say, hey, I'm going to be at this location from this time to this time, which is probably going to be on the order of 10 to 11 in the morning because I'm a morning person, not an evening person. And if you want to come by and say hello and grab a cup of coffee, you're welcome to do that. And my expectation is that much of the time, nobody will show. because it's going to be in odd locations and stuff like that. And there's not going to be a lot of notice. But for the times when I happen to be in your location, and you happen to be available to show up, it could be that we get to sit down together and, have a meaningful conversation. I think that would be kind of cool. Let me know what you think. Coffee is always such a process. So now we've got the filter ready to go, the coffee's ready to go. Now we're going to pour some water over the filter. And you do this, if you wet the filter in advance, you remove the paper flavor from the filter so it's not going into your coffee. And I could have done that with a whole lot less water, but I didn't. Now I get to dump some beans in my coffee. Actually, I'm going to try measuring it just to see how much I'm going to use compared to how much I was. Yeah, I might have enough for both cups of coffee there this morning. All right, so there's a heaping scoop. This is a little coarser than the pre-ground coffee I was buying. So we'll see how that comes out. It's always, a bit of an experiment. My life is a bit of an experiment. And I really enjoy treating my life that way. Alright, so I'm going to rearrange a few things. Get enough room so that you can watch the pour, because that's really kind of the best part of the whole process. And once again, we're going to get the beans wet. Coffee's still not, the water's still not completely hot. We're going to go ahead and wet the beans so they can start to exude their goodness. Oh man, that smells good. Yes, it does. Part of the reason I decided to go back to grinding my own coffee beans is coffee grinders are cheap. They don't take up a whole lot of space. It's not a huge appliance. And ground coffee really does, fresh ground coffee really does taste better than pre-ground beans. And it doesn't use a whole lot of power. I mean, you saw how long the thing's got to run, so not really a big deal. All right, here we go. Might have wanted to turn the stove off before I grabbed the pot, but oh well. So you pour in a circular motion. Kind of slowly. And I'm going to stop right there because my beans are kind of big. I got room. See, I don't ever measure anything. There have been a couple of times when I've gotten overly enthusiastic, and I have ended up overfilling my cup, and then I've had a mess to clean up. All right, so that's going to do its thing. Enjoying that steam view? I hope so. Okay, we've got our full cup of coffee. Good thing I didn't put any more in there, huh? And I'm going to just clean my filter off with a little vinegar and water spray. Really like my new faucet. Being able to get it out. I mean, I can get it all the way away from the sink if I need to, but it moves out of the way. It makes it a whole lot easier to wash hair in the sink. All right, so we got coffee. Now we're going to add collagen peptides and 2 level spoonfuls is about 9 or 10 grams of protein. And this is less about getting protein in my coffee than it is about getting collagen in my bones, because it lubricates joints. And when I stir it into my coffee, it is completely seamless. I don't even know it's there. So that's pretty good. All right, we got our coffee in hand. Let's go sit down. All right, before we keep moving, it's time for an update on Kit's social progress. Because yes, there has been some. So before we want to jump into the comments, I do want to touch on one small thing that actually meant a lot to me for this week. So if you've been around here for a while, you know that Kit's always been quite selective. So seeing him relatively relaxed, choosing connection on his own, and trusting familiar people again, that's real progress. It doesn't happen fast, and it doesn't happen by force. It happens by letting him move at his own pace. And when there's plenty of bacon involved. All right, let's jump into the comments. From the video when our tribe finally meets in person, at Gardner_Angie writes, "Hi Sally, what a fun gathering. We really loved meeting everyone and seeing our special little guy again. Beautiful sunny day in Quartzsite and a super relaxed vibe at the meetup. Lots of great education, a fun rig tour, and the best part, the laughs. What a surprise to see Kit leap into Mark's lap. Just perfect. Mucho love and blessings to you all." That moment with Kit really did feel full circle for me, and I appreciate you noticing the vibe. Relaxed, unforced, lots of laughter. That's always the goal around here. Let's talk about a little Quartzsite reality check, shall we? And here's the first one. So first of all, Quartzsite changes throughout the season, no doubt about it. Here's my first Quartzsite reality check. I just came back yesterday afternoon from being down in Yuma, and you can see I've got a sweatshirt on. It's almost time for me to be able to take it off finally. I had to put long pants on this morning. I don't love doing that. I like to stay in shorts and my tank shirt. But you may start to notice people rolling out. Camps are thinning. The energy's shifting. The big tent's over. That's all normal. Quartzsite has a rhythm, and we're in the transition phase right now. So for me, this is also where Yuma starts to make more sense. It's quieter, it's more spread out, it's better for day-to-day life, especially if you want to avoid the January buzz, which, you know, I did the whole thing this year for the first time. I'd been avoiding it. I did the big tent. You know, I'm done with that now. But there are different places for different seasons, and there's different reasons for different places as well. So Quartzsite's it's a nice vibe. I think that everybody should do it at least once. I've done it many years over and over, and each year I spend less and less time in Quartzsite during the winter season. I float in, I float out. I'll be here for about a week this time, and then I'm going to be leaving again. Kentucky Lucky says, from a short video that I did, a beautiful desert morning at the Pilot Knob LTVA. Kentucky Lucky says, good to see another LTVA. Nice that it's not too crowded. Yeah, exactly. And just to clarify for folks, this LTVA is trash only. There's no water or sewer, but there is a paid dump station right next door at the Chevron, if that's your jam. There are also plenty of places around Yuma to be able to get water and dump for free, if you know where to look. So knowing these little details makes a big difference when you're planning. And this is why reading comments matters. You all add context that helps everyone who is watching. You know, another thing that helps too, guys, if you're willing to do it, if you share the video, that helps YouTube see that more people should be interested in it. So then they show it to a whole bunch of people that have never looked at any of my videos before. And I share these things periodically because a lot of people do not understand at all how YouTube works, and that there are certain things that you can do that are really helpful and don't really cost you anything, certainly monetarily, but even in terms of much effort. And I apologize if you're seeing my figures. I made beets this morning, and I couldn't get all the beet juice off. Sorry. So again, from the video when our tribe finally meets in person, Mama Wanderlust 6000 says, sounds like all had a good time. The big tent would be nice, but I would love to see the bead show where they sell the turquoise, etc. The bead show would be dangerous in the best possible way. Turquoise, handmade jewelry, and a whole lot of, oh, I'm just going to look. I actually have a friend who makes beads and usually goes to the Tucson show. Isn't going to make it this year, unfortunately. But, you know, you never know when you might meet up. From the same video, when our tribe finally meets in person, at Gimbal Girl says, I just watched a video of the Meet the YouTubers in Quartzsite the other day. I think your meetup was much more fun than that one. Well, thanks, Linda. I think the difference is intention. Less spectacle, more connection. That's what makes it feel real. One thing I always want to say out loud is that if you usually watch quietly, really is a safe place to jump in when you're ready. You don't have to be loud or frequent to belong here. You're all welcome. From the video when our tribe finally meets in person, at Grandma Judy-Fab4 says, really looked like everyone had fun. It really was one of those easy, joyful days, and I'm grateful for them every time they happen. Same video. RC Maniac says, Sasha and I enjoyed our visit with everyone. Great entertainment as well. We're talking about the Key extravaganza. I wish I'd known there was going to be morning coffee meetup. I would have come back over. Oh well, until next time then. Safe travels to all. Brett. That coffee thing turned into a very organic add-on, Brett, rather than a planned event, which honestly just gives us a reason for next time. And I love how many of you treat these crossings as, until next time, not missed forever. What we typically say is, see you down the road, because you never know when that's going to happen. And I have run into people that I met 8 states away. Well, and here's a great example. Sandra, and if you don't know who she is, she was on the thumbnail with me in the picture, in the main thumbnail picture for that video. We met at a Army Corps of Engineers campground on the border between Florida and Georgia. And she made the effort to come to the meetup. I thought that was super cool. It was really nice to be able to see her and connect again. So you never know when you'll see someone down the road. And that campground, what was that called? East Bank Campground. That was really cool because my watch on my phone kept switching time zones because Florida is an Eastern time zone. No, I can't remember. I can't remember exactly how this worked. One was in Eastern time zone and one was in Central time zone. And maybe it wasn't Florida and Georgia. It was something. There were 2 different states and it was in that part of the country. That's all I can tell you. Let's talk a little bit about what's coming next. Little quick look ahead so nothing feels like it comes out of nowhere. Next week I'm rolling out changes to the YouTube membership tiers. If you're curious or you're already a member, make sure you watch the first Sunday Coffee Talk live on Sunday and then also next week's Monday Mailbag. That's where I'll share all the details and the why behind it. And later this week, you're going to be getting the full Monty on my electrical issues from last summer. Not the highlight reel, the whole saga. The lessons learned, the what I wish I knew before, all that stuff. I think you'll find that one pretty fun. If you want to make sure you catch those when they drop, this is a great moment to make sure you're subscribed. And if you think you are, double check to make sure because YouTube does spontaneously unsubscribe people. It's happened to me for some of the creators that I watch on a regular basis. I'll think, I haven't seen anything from so-and-so for quite some time, and then I look at my subscription list, and they're not there. Go figure. So they do that. From Monday Milepost Mailbag, episode 25, bringing the tribe to Quartzsite, Marie Taylor 2901 M Taylor 2901 says, great and much deserved shout out to Sweet Barb. So awesome to have a good supportive friend and so great that Kit has a second human he can trust. That second human thing with Kit is no small deal, Marie, and I appreciate how closely some of you notice those layers. And I know you do in particular because I know Lola. Lola is Marie's dog. From, again, Monday Milepost Mailbag, episode 25. Josh says, hi, Sally and the Kitster. Sally, you said nudes. Your reaction was priceless. Well, for the record, I said holy, and the sheep sound effect earned its keep that day. That would be a bleep. Because I was really quite shocked that Kit just spontaneously jumped up into Mark's lap. And I couldn't help myself. I just blurted it out. It was pretty funny. But that brings us to the Airmail Shoutout. All right. It goes to @Gardener_Angie. I'm going to read Angie's comment again exactly as written because it really captures the heart of this community. And she said, hi, Sally, what a fun gathering. We really loved meeting everyone and seeing our special little guy again. Beautiful sunny day in Quartzsite and a super relaxed vibe at the meetup. Lots of great education, a fun rig tour, and the best part, the laughs. What a surprise to see Kit leap into Mark's lap. Haha, just perfect. Mucho love and blessings to you all. Angie, thank you so much. That comment holds so much warmth. The laughter, the ease, and yes, the full circle moment of Kit deciding Mark was finally his person after a long-standing bacon-based relationship. I appreciate you. I appreciate the way you show up here, and this shout-out is very well deserved. As always, thank you all for being here, whether you comment every week or quietly watch from the sidelines. If you want to stay in the loop on the membership updates, the electrical deep dive, or future Route 66 mini meetups, make sure you're subscribed and keep an eye on the Coffee Talk. The link for Patreon is also in the description down the road. down the road, down below, you can always go ahead over there and join as a free member. And you'll start seeing some stuff showing up there very, very shortly, even for the free membership tier. Obviously, paid members get some other perks, but free members get some stuff too. And I set it up that way deliberately. I think that's all we've got for now, so I will see you down the road. Thanks for being here. Bye for now.
Wake up with the sun in our